Hey guys, it's Brian here, and I got a lot of old video game magazines, Nintendo Power, Game Pros, strategy guides. I thought it'd be cool after seeing some of Gamester 81's videos, how he reviews Nintendo Power, so I thought I'd do the same thing, because they have a lot of nostalgia for me, especially this one right here. This is the first one I ever got. This is actually from March, April 1990, and I remember getting this in, I think it was the 4th grade at the time, because Super Mario Bros. 3 was just coming out. And I was so excited for this, and it has a lot of wear on it because I've read it from front to cover so many times. But basically, over this time and series, I'm going to basically review like maybe one every once in a while. I have quite a few, so it'll take a little bit. I'm going to tell about it and see what's on the cover. So basically, this is from March and April 1990. The headline was Super Mario Bros. 3, and look at the front. It's like a claymation, clay Mario with the sun in the desert level. And remember how the sun comes and tries to kill you. You have Iggy Koopa right here and a Chain Chomp. It also has Silent Service, 720 Degrees, a skateboarding game, A Boy and His Blob, Pinbot, and Ask Dianax. All games which I have for the regular Nintendo. And you open it up and you see some great 1990s advertisements. It says, hey, it's twice the power, and now it's every month. Ad for Nintendo Power. They have some strategy guides they're giving away. You have the table of contents. You have Super Mario Bros. 3. It's all color-coded. You got special features, previews. See Wrath of the Black Manta, Boy and His Blob, Astyanax, Dragon Warrior, which was a great game. I got it for free from Nintendo Power from this very subscription. I got that free game. Howard and Nestor comics, Super C, sequel to Contra. This is issue number, I don't see an issue number on it. I'm not sure which one it is. And you got the mailbox, and you got all like things about people and what they're doing and how they love Nintendo. The good ship Nintendo. Here's some kids here. Here's an old play tester. This kid right here is a play tester, I believe. And some reader art. They also have reader art. And here it is. This was the thing me and my friends got excited about. Super Mario Bros. 3. See, and look how it's laid out so nice. You had like all this great, huge artwork. Not huge, but nice, colorful artwork. And just seeing this was amazing as a kid. Wow. This just takes me back so much. You see it has World 2, the desert levels. Then they showed like airships. Little did we know, like at the end of each world, you have to go through an airship level and fight a Koopa Kid. It gives all the worlds right here. World 1, Island World. Or I'm sorry, World 3 is Island World. World 4, Land of the Giants, which was my favorite. World 5, Cloud Castle, which was the introduction of the Toonky suit, my favorite power-up of all time in the Super Mario Bros. Game. World 6, Winter Wonderland, and World 7, Tube City. And of course, they left out Bowser's Domain, which was, as a kid, that was intense when we got there. Have Silent Service. This was another Nintendo game which I remember playing at my cousin's house actually, and it was kind of hard to play, but it was like a submarine simulator, but it was kind of cool because there was not many games like it. And I just love how these magazines, they're not like a lot of magazines today are mostly ads just reviewing games. These were actually telling you about the game and actual strategies you could use, and the artwork was like hand drawn. It was very nice. And here's the Consumer Electronics Show for 1990. You have something about the Game Boy, role-playing games. They talk about Gargoyle's Quest, which I have for the Nintendo. Dragon Warrior, which is one of my favorite. I remember that getting that game and being so excited because I didn't expect to get it free from Nintendo. If you had a subscription to Nintendo Power to drum up hype for it, they gave it to you. Talk about Ninja Gaiden 2, which I was really excited for. And to this day, that's the only Ninja Gaiden I ever beat was Ninja Gaiden 2. Arcade translations, Narc coming to the NES. Role-playing games, they're talking about Final Fantasy, which was a huge one. We'll get to that guide a little bit later. I have that guide. That's a lot of issues later. Here's Pinbot. This was a pinball game. That's basically... it's pretty easy to find. but it was like a tilted, angled pinball machine. You see their power meter, play control. It was like a gauge. More Pinbot. 720 Degrees, a skateboarding game. I never really played this as a kid. I did pick it up, and I like it, but I didn't play too much. Here's some courses. They're talking about all the courses. A Boy and His Blob. Now, I got this game, and I loved it. It was made by the guy who did Pitfall, David Crane, I believe his name was. And basically, you fed it was a really fun Nintendo game. And you fed the blob, there was this boy and this blob, and you fed the blob different jelly beans, and depending on the color of the jelly bean, he could do different things, like strawberry turns him into a bridge, cola is a bubble, coconut is it's like I believe it's a bowling ball. And if you knew what to do in the game, you could beat it in like 5 minutes. But for me, I had no idea what to do, and I was always confused as a kid as what to do. And they later remade it for the Nintendo Wii. More Boy and His Blob. And it's funny, the graphics weren't 100% great, but it was all about like just the fun that you had with these old Nintendo games. Here's Howard and... Oh, sorry about that. And here's Howard and Nestor. This was a good comic. Howard was the president, I believe, of Nintendo of America, and Nestor was like Nintendo's Powers mascot. And there was one game, Nestor's Bowling, I think, for the Virtual Boy. You can see, wow, even my staples coming apart here. There was a few, like 2 pages of comics. And Wrath of the Black Manta, which I had. And I used to love this game. And I used to run it all the time, and I actually picked it up maybe a year ago. And it's hard. I just remember this one boss right here, if you can see him. He was a big, like, hairy biker guy. But I always thought that was awesome looking graphics. Astyanax. This game always amazed me with the graphics. And basically, it's like, it's really, really hard is what I can say about it. And you're a little kid, but you look like this scrawny kid, but when the fairy enchants you, you become this huge, bulking Hulk. And I never did beat this. I could hardly get past the 2nd level, but it's so hard. Actually, I should try to beat this again, as it's not on a molder. See Medusa, he's fighting Medusa. And the top 30. This was Nintendo published the top 30 games for the month, or maybe of that Nintendo Power. You can see number 1, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That game I used to play a lot at my cousin's house, and it drove us fits. We could never get past the part with the grappling hooks. I think it was stage 4, past the dam. Mega Man 2, that's a good choice. That game's awesome. Super Mario Brothers 2, which I love. Still one of my favorite Mario games, even though it's not really a Mario game. But I'm sure all you guys know about the Doku Doku Panic in Japan and all that being rebadged as a Mario game here. Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, which was an awesome game. It seems like all the number 2 sequels were kind of different but I like that. Dragon Warrior, which I loved. And I remember playing this not knowing how to play because it was a role-playing game and I never played anything like that before. But once I figured it out, I fell in love with role-playing games. Legend of Zelda, of course, you gotta have Zelda. 7, Super Mario Brothers 3. And here's Ninja Gaiden. And this game, I remember getting this at Woolworths, and just for the cover, it had a ninja with a fire in the background. And it's still one of my favorite games, even though I've never beaten it. DuckTales, awesome music, awesome game, awesome. Tecmo Bowl, never really played it much. And then you have, rounding out the top, the next 10. Or the next, rounding out the list. And here's players' picks, pros' pick, dealer picks of the same games, of different games, what they like. And here's previews of upcoming games. You got Final Fantasy, Codename Viper, and Super C. Super C was awesome. I used to play that a lot with a friend. It was a sequel to Contra. Final Fantasy I didn't play until later, but I remember my one friend used to rave about this game, and he had this strategy guide, and it was an actual issue of Nintendo. It was a strategy guide for the game. And here's their full color preview. They really were hyping this Final Fantasy game because there was not really many RPGs in America at the time, so they were really trying to hype, Dragon Warrior and get hype for Final Fantasy. And it came out the summer of '90, I believe. The summer of Final Fantasy is almost here, and you see like all the characters. They got all the sprites. They talk about the classes and this cool artwork. I think that's Garland you fight right at the beginning. If you've never played Final Fantasy, you fight the main bad guy right at the beginning. And then there's a whole time warp kind of thing that's even still confusing to this day. Codename Viper, which I never beat this game, but it was interesting. You started out in a jungle and you went through these doors and rescued these people. Super C, which I played a lot of with my one best friend in elementary and junior high. Sequel to Contra, that's all you gotta know. I'm sure everybody here has played Super C. And look at this artwork, it's great. Oh, and this I played the heck out of. I looked the heck out of this Dragon Warrior. It was like a game. Like if you ever see a Choose Your Own Adventure book, it was like this. You started here and you could choose to go either to A, B, or C, and then you went to. So it says east, go to number 1. So you go to the town of Brecondary and buy a weapon. And then you can go to 5. And then here, you go to 5, you have a choice, and you can go to another one. I remember being so amazed with this as a kid, I actually made my own. Because I thought this was so cool. Because I was so into the RPGs. There was nothing like that at the time for me. I used to play, like, I think I played every scenario out in this. And here's a big, thing about the Game Boy games coming up. And I never had a Game Boy as a kid, but it lasted a really long time. A lot of good games for it, which you can get really cheap. Here's Nemesis. It's like a side-scrolling shooter. It kind of looks like Gradius. Up and coming, Flipple, which I never heard of. Oblivion, never heard of. Bases Loaded. And I just picked up Daedalian Opus, and it's not exact. In my one pickup video, or my one vlog I did, it's a puzzle game where you gotta connect shapes like Tetris. It was not what I was expecting. New games now available: Super Spring Smash Hits, Tecmo World Wrestling, Abadox, Bases Loaded 2, Alancers Turbo, Alancers Junior Turbo Racing, The Battle of Olympus, Zexies. I think that's a Hudson Soft shooter, I believe. I can't pronounce it, though. ZEXYZ. Rescue the Embassy Mission, which is a funny game. You can actually beat it in like 10 minutes, even less than that. But there was nothing like it on the the regular Nintendo at the time. Tecmo World Wrestling. I love this game just because of the outrageous. I used to rent this all the time from my local video store. Just look at the characters. El Tiger, I think, was my favorite. I just thought it was amazing because I really liked wrestling back then too. Abadox, which I never actually played. It's like a shooter, side-scrolling shooter. Bases Loaded 2. Some more baseball games, and there were so many baseball games on Nintendo. Never played Alancers Junior. Battle for Olympus, which I never finished. It was like it reminded me of Zelda almost. The T. It just had that look of it, but it's a completely different adventure in its own right. And I should actually play that. And here's that Hudson Soft shooter, I believe it's by Hudson Soft. It looks at Zexies. And here's Rescue the Embassy Mission. You see, basically avoid the spotlights, snipe out your targets, go in and infiltrate and rescue the hostages, and that's it. Depending on how well you do, that's the levels. Dragon War, and this is the Counselor's Corner, where these guys right here, and look at the great 90s haircuts, would help you out with their games. If you had needing tips, it's like, where is Edric's armor? It tells you go into the town of, I think it's Garland. Is that the town? No, Hawk's Nest. That's the town. And you search behind the Axe Knight, and you got Edric's armor, which is so cryptic. But here's DuckTales. Where's a Skeleton Key? River City Ransom, which my one friend loved. I never did beat this game. Shadowgate I beat. I loved it. Loved Shadowgate. Just any kind of game like Medieval Castle I loved. Medieval, that kind of thing. Some more Shadowgate tips, because Shadowgate was a really cryptic game. And Legacy of the Wizard, this is a cryptic game. Look at this map just to find the crowns. Look at all these ways you had to go. Now, classified information was a cool area where it just had tips and tricks. Like for Punch-Out, they give you codes and passwords, how to beat each boss. Mega Man 2, how to slow down Quickman. And if you pause it rapidly when you hit them, it would like hurt them. And more damage than normal. Bad Dudes was awesome. I loved this game as a kid too, because it was like just like beating up, like a side-scrolling beat 'em up, which I love. Hide Lied, Cobra Triangle, Racing Speedboats. I remember that. Double Dragon 2, played the heck out of this with my friends. Co-op. It was a cooperative, side-scrolling beat 'em up. Awesome game. Biggest Dream, never played that. Video shorts. So here's 8 Eyes. They're talking about upcoming games, I believe. 8 Eyes. I do have this, but I haven't played it yet. So I don't know what this is about. Magic of Shrazade, which I have this, but I only played a little bit of it. Heavy Barrel, I have never played. Kings of the Beach, a volleyball game. I remember this, but I never played it. I might have played it once, maybe rented it. But Marvel's X-Men, boy, this game, well, of course, anybody knows this game's terrible. Target Renegade, Magic Johnson's Fast Break, Destination Earthstar, which I think this was a Zapper game. I could be mistaken, though. Top Player Tennis, Remote Control, which was another great game show game that they had. Win, Lose, or Draw, another one. Biggest Dream. These are all upcoming games. So it's funny just to look back and see all these games. Top Gun 2, Second Mission. Dash Galaxy and the Alien Asylum. Fisher-Price Perfect Fit. Some Fisher-Price games. Puss in Boots. And here's the NES Achievers. These are people who would send in their high scores. So you see Bad Dude, somebody got top score 690,000. DuckTales, they finished it. And they would just post their, tips and tricks. Tell you to take a picture. Here's the world's second NES Power Trivia Quiz. I don't know what this is. Oh, it just asks you games about Nintendo. The 1990 Nintendo World Championships. This tells you about, where it's coming to, your location. You can compete. You can actually go and compete in this. And I didn't know it at the time, but, now it's a big thing. You hear all about it. But at the time, I was like, I didn't live near a city, so I couldn't really. And it was in Pittsburgh, which is near me, the David Lawrence Convention Center. And this was the ending of stuff from Nintendo, accessories and cool stuff. Here's video cassettes of Super Mario Bros. Super Show, Zelda. Here's the 4-score. I think it was called 4-score. Here's the Game Boy with Carry-All. And here's the thing about what's her name from Roseanne. They had a celebrity thing on the end. Here's Pack Watch coming out, and I was so excited for Ninja Gaiden 2. This was one of the games that I really, really wanted to get, and I love this game to this day. You talk about Crystalis. I always call it Crystalis, but I think it's Crystalis. It was a cool game coming out. It took place in the future, I think 1999, which is funny. And looking back on these games for 2000X, 1999, now it's that's not what the future's like. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, which you played that, is awesome. Talk about Gossip coming on, A Journey to Silius, a feature offering from Nintendo, and that game had great music. I listen to this music still. Go-Go 13. I have this, and I haven't played much of it, though. Soul Stitch, which I remember renting, and it was an isometric kind of wizard game, and I think there was a sequel to it. It might have been called, I forget what the sequel was called. It was on the Super Nintendo, I believe. Maniac Mansion, a PC port of the game. Awesome game. I never did beat it. Battle Chess, which I love. I like just for the animations. Little League Baseball. Castlevania 3. Looks like Simon's quest to rid Transylvania was not concluded, even with his banishing of Dracula's curse in the castle. Castlevania 2. This adventure is still in development, but we'll let you know. Konami will get it out as soon as they can. We'll let you know. And I love Castlevania 3. Still have it. Still love it. Dungeon Magic. I never heard of that. Say it's an RPG. And then here's back issues you could order. So apparently this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is issue 11. And that's it. They talk about next issue. They're having a thing about Super C, Brave Fighter, Dino Wars, and Final Fantasy. Here's a letter to the readers. Nintendo Power Awards. Each year they had Nintendo Power Awards for best, different categories. I think graphics, gameplay, and all that stuff. But here you see some here are the nominees. Or here's some nominees on the next page. Best graphics, best theme fun, best controls, best challenge, best character, best ending, and all this other great categories of games. And looking at this as a kid, you can see I got a lot of wear out of this magazine. And it's just very nostalgic to me. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's kind of long, but if you did enjoy it, thanks for sitting with me. And Gamester81, as I can say, I love his channel. And he got me into wanting to do this because I just saw, hey, why not talk about Nintendo Power? So, okay, guys, this is Brian signing off. I'll see you guys again.